You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recording 18th of July 2024.
Welcome to the Ligers show. We're going to do a tight 2 hours. It's going to be 1 hour, bang. Another hour, bang.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe not. And part of the charm is the sound of the microphone cables clicking and clacking and all the huffs from my breath. No. But it's a live podcast.
Yeah,
so
we're in the same room.
So you can feel the energy.
Completely shirtless.
Yeah.
Sitting in their underwear.
I'm oiling up over here. We only have the one tub. I got to wait to hand it over to Jay.
Yes.
But you got to do it. You got to do it if you're going to pod.
Otherwise, no one will believe that we're shirtless.
Okay, sorry. Actually, that part was a joke, obviously. But the real truth is that we are shirtless.
I remember I was working on a show. We were all living in the same house. And it was sort of like the boys were in one house, the girls were in the others.
Yeah.
The non-binary people were,
they didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Because the West hadn't conditioned them yet.
Yeah. And it's like in the boys' house was one guy who was like, kept walking around in his underwear and farting.
Yeah.
And you do the thing, like if you're sitting on the couch and you just raise one leg and fart.
I hate that.
And it's like, I don't care, this is the boys' house.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretend I'm a girl. We're down in Cork City.
Yeah. Cork City. I'm thinking, what's the one where it goes Limerick City in the night? What a fright.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I never heard that in my life.
Maybe it was a country thing. Write in.
Yeah. We should got more emails.
Yeah, send it to CelticLigers@gmail.com or send us on the DMs.
Yeah.
Also, we got some comments on Patreon, which is quite nice. But they're not like stuff you read out because it's just like, I like this thing, which is nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone said you were good at impressions.
Yeah. It really put the pressure on because like at Test Tube Babies, the premiere comedy night in Cork City, it took place in Collins, don't know what the fuck again, don't know what that is. What's
Sorry,
up?
it's Belgian.
All right, thank you. Just what I said earlier, just respect.
Yeah.
Hey, it's contagious.
Yeah, we're going.
Right.
We're drinking Fritz Cola.
We're drinking fizzy pop.
We've been trying to navigate the BDS.
Yeah. And Fritz Cola is the best substitute, but then you need a fucking bottle opener, which is a pain in the hoop.
They only sell it in certain places.
Yeah, and it's $2.50 a bottle, and it's $2.50 a bottle, so that means it's fucking like 50 cents per sip. Am I right?
Yeah.
Fucking size of those things, tiny.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm supporting our Jewish brothers and sisters who are just surviving in a harsh desert, which they made bloom. But we ordered a takeaway and got a big bottle of Coke Zero with it. So finishing that off, polishing that fucker off.
Yeah, other things we found out were on the list were Sudocrem.
Yeah, that one hurt.
That really did hurt.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're in your 30s?
Well, usually like Sudocrem's for babies, isn't it?
No, it's for men.
Yeah, it's for hard men.
Yeah, it's for rashes.
Yeah, and dry elbows and stuff.
Just for everything.
Yeah, it is. It's really
bites, dog bites.
So don't. Yeah, you need them for dog bites in your fucking guard towers in. Actually, no, that's pretty. I don't want to talk about it because the dog. No, I was going to say in the IDF needs them for their. But then that something horrible did happen with the dog recently.
Yeah,
it's just not even fucking. Or the worst thing I've.
Maybe Joe Biden needs it because he.
Yeah, his dogs keep biting people.
After he's like, wasn't one of them? It was like in the shower.
Yeah,
he was like pulling on his dog's tail, and then he fell.
But yeah, no, they were like, but actually speaking of, yeah, because like Mark was like, can you do an impression of Joe Biden? And then because of that comment, I was freaking out because I wanted to do the best impression of Joe Biden ever.
And you did.
And I mostly did do it, yeah. I did. I felt a little like
You were like,
my words
I'm
were...
the best president, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The batteries and the shark. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer to get eaten by the shark or shocked by the batteries and President Biden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Trump asked that question to a
Yeah.
scientist.
Scientist.
He was like, what?
I don't know what scientist, but apparently
Yeah.
he did, you know.
What would Biden ask a scientist?
Probably the same thing, except
just
with
be like-
greater difficulty.
Can you fix my brain?
Yeah.
Do they have that power yet?
Because I didn't realize that the reason he was bringing that stuff up about the battery was
So it's
because it
like-
was to do with cars.
So it's like you're on a ship and there's a battery, big battery beneath you,
Yeah.
and then it's sinking. And
he's
then
like-
there's a shark. What is it, 10 yards away?
10 yards away.
And it's, would you rather, should you stay on the ship, go underneath and get electrocuted, or jump in and,
Get eaten by the shark.
yeah.
And then he went off on a tangent about it. Do you hear these other scientists? Not the one I asked the question to, but these scientists who are saying that, oh, the shark, he just ate. There's so many more shark attacks.
Yeah.
And they just attacked a lady because they were afraid, not because they were hungry. Get out. You know, he's like, this
Yeah.
is crazy talk. The shark knew what it was doing, you know?
Yeah. I do think they sometimes downplay, you know, they're like, oh, sharks think people on a surfboard are turtles.
Yeah.
You ever heard that?
Not especially, no.
And it's like, I'm sure it knows what it's doing. I'm on Trump's side with this one.
Well, I think you enter a shark's terrain, you're on its home turf, all bets are off.
Yeah. Welcome to the dojo.
What happens if a shark comes in my home? You think I'm not going to eat it?
Yeah. It's about to enter 7 shades of hell. That shark is... You've ever seen Saw? That shark is going to be 11 in Saw.
Yeah. But yeah, the battery. So he's like, which would you do? Would you get electrocuted or would you go to the shark again? Because I'm going to get electrocuted every time, I tell you. And, but the thing that, like, but he was saying that and I was like, where the fuck did that come out of? And it
Yeah.
was because it was electric cars are dangerous because their batteries, if exposed to water, will electrocute it. And if there's a shark nearby, then you might die. I guess I was like, what a hypothetical.
What would you do?
What would I do? I'd actually would get eaten by the shark.
No way.
No, I would.
Why? Just
I
because
just
Trump
feel-
did the other thing.
No, I feel like being electrocuted would actually be a lot more painful. In all
Then
honesty,
getting eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
You know they don't eat you in one bite.
like go in there and see my friend freaking Pinocchio. Oh no, wait, that's a whale.
Yeah.
You should have seen it. Sorry, Zaina put down her magazine, like her eyes were rolling. She was about to correct me. Excuse me, that was
Yeah.
a whale, and I was like,
She's inside your head. now.
come on. No, I knew it was a whale. I was just like,
You're just riffing.
I was riffing. I lost in the riff, but also at the same time, I was thinking, like, what is the point of this? What is somebody going back there, like, that's funny. He corrected himself immediately.
Did Pinocchio live in the whale? Because Jonah lived in the whale.
No, he got eaten by the whale. He found his dad, Geppetto, who had gone out looking for him.
In the whale?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And then they make the whale sneeze, and then they get out.
No. There was a kid grabber,
Yeah.
and he grabs the kids.
Is that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No.
Okay.
And then there's the bold kids.
Well, he didn't grab them. He just entices them over to an island, and then they start
Yeah,
smoking
via-
and drinking.
Via whale.
And then they turn. No. The whale's a different, independent of that guy.
The whale is independent of the guy.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And then when they smoke and drink, they turn into donkeys.
Yeah.
What is this? Freaking Egypt?
Yeah. What is it? Epstein's Island.
Yeah, everything's that's what happened to all those kids.
They
They all
got
turned
turned
into donkeys.
Sex donkeys.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
You know the way there's those furries. You've heard of furries, haven't you?
Yes.
And it's like people who dress up as animals.
Yeah.
Do they have donkey ones?
Yeah. Do they? I don't know.
There's some old impotent guy dressed up as a donkey.
Yeah.
And you're like, why don't you fuck the fox over there?
Is that, you know, the way in like gay relationships they'll have like the old kind of wiser gay guy, you know, to kind of teach them the ways.
Okay, you've brought this one up a couple of times.
Oh, look,
Go for it.
you can message in and tell me I'm wrong, but in popular media they always have that kind of character. Like in It's a Sin,
The
it was
wise
like
old
Neil
gay
Patrick
guy.
Harris, who's like, you know, no, I was through it as well, and now I can tell you that guy is a creep, and to avoid him and to do this, and you know,
Okay.
there's a bunch of characters like that in
Sure.
things. Now maybe it's not
Give me
part of
another
the
one.
community.
I feel like that was David Norris' job for
yes.
about 50 years.
Come on, Zainab, do you have somebody? Help me.
She is you.
Hey.
A wise old gay guy.
Yes.
He's always telling her what to do.
Hmm. You know the kind of mentor gay guys.
Yeah, they always have to have like, oh yeah, there's that elder twink, and then there's a twink that comes into the big city.
But is that a real thing, or is that just something in media? Because it's something that gets brought up a lot, especially when it comes to like. I'm not going to say that.
Garrett stories.
No. Well, why
Have
did I
you
bring
ever,
that up?
let me ask you a question. Have you ever met one?
No, but I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community.
I know, but you've met gay people.
Yeah, I know, but they wouldn't let me know they're wise gays. I've definitely met older gay guys who are kind of a bit more seasoned. And
You just
kinda-
meet the twinks. What were they like, the wise old gay guy you met?
Just kind of depends. Like anybody, they're either like nice and kind of warm and welcoming, or else they're like,
Cruel.
get the fuck out of here and stop wasting my time. Not
Where
like
was this?
not like
At a
wasting my
At a
time.
glory hole.
It's like you go to these places and they're like, well, you're not gay, you know? Like
What
they say that to me.
places?
Like I went to Mother one time and they just are like, you're not gay, okay? So then they're just like,
Who
I came
said
here
that?
to hang out with a bunch of gay guys, and then if you're trying to talk to me, it's like, just fuck off and leave me alone, okay? You're not part of my community. I don't want to talk to you tonight.
Right.
I came out here to have a good time,
Okay.
and that's fine.
How bigoted.
Yeah, the so-called
Tolerant.
tolerant, yes, and then a slur. So I was going to say in the furry community, the version of that is donkeys, and they're just over in the corner having like a smoke outside, and then somebody comes up with their like new pink kind of ears or whatever the fuck, and he's just like, you got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
he's got the Eeyore ears. And then, please tell me in the queer community if that was actually funny, and because you recognize the gay character, not because furries and gay people are interchangeable. Now, I hope that I've covered every single base. And we can all have a good laugh, right? We're just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
Are there trans furries?
I don't know anything about furries, so why are you asking me?
I'm just throwing it out there. Some guy who's like, I was born a donkey, but now I'm
Do they all think that they were born an animal and then, their biology's, or do they just think like, I'd prefer to be this animal?
I think it is like the animal.
I would have thought, yeah.
They're like, the way, when you think, so when I'm doing something, I like to imagine myself as Mike Tyson.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
When you say doing something.
Just anything.
When I'm biting off a guy's ear
Yeah.
or beating a woman unconscious.
Who do you imagine yourself as?
What do you mean? If I want to feel confident?
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot.
I'm really embarrassed that the first name that came into my head was Damon Albarn from Gorillaz.
Okay.
From Blur. I was like, I think he's like the coolest guy ever.
So I think for them, when they imagine someone, they're like a fox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, when they're nervous on their first day of school, they're like, I just have to envision myself as like
Yeah.
a fox wearing a harness.
Yeah.
And that will like give me the confidence to get through this day.
Or Stuart Lee or Alan Moore is another one.
No, you said David Albarn.
Damon Albarn.
I was watching Shane Gillis.
I didn't ask you, who's your guy? Oh, you already
Mike
said Mike
Tyson.
Tyson. Sorry, go on.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
And,
I don't get that one, to be honest.
What?
I don't really get Shane Gillis.
And he has some live show. And they were all smoking.
Yeah.
It's all in Brooklyn.
Mm.
And it's weird now how, like, because Americans really hate smoking.
Mm.
And now to be, like, reactionary, you have
Yeah.
to start smoking.
Yeah.
Really is like, I like a lot of those podcasts, you know?
Yeah.
But they really are just like, what's the opposite of
Yeah.
what the woke people are doing?
Did you sent me that thing?
With Dasha
Yeah.
from Red Scare, and she's dressing up the Target thing.
And they said this in the tweet. We are not saying this as a Palestinian.
Yeah. It's definitely a Muslim.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they have a keffiyeh and then they have a bomb vest strapped
Yeah.
to it, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're using makeup out of Target and shoot it as target practice." And I was like, "Are all the Chapel guys and all that? Are they still associated with them?" And I looked up like the latest episodes of Red Scared, see even if the podcast was still on, and Amber Alley Frost was promoting her book as recently as like March 2024 on there.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I mean, you don't have to co-sign everything somebody says, but if it's like post the Alex Jones interview and Steve Bannon interview, and then they are like, and to be honest, like anything where it's like with Palestinians, where it's like, yeah, it's just a goof. It's like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
There's not even a goof with this. There's not even, come on, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Tell you what, goofy you.
yeah. The other thing I was looking at was there was a funny, like, you know, when you follow two people completely independently on Twitter and then they somehow cross paths and get into an argument with each other, and you're like, oh wow, you know.
Like, there was one of Dasha and what's his name? Varg,
I don't know,
the
Varg.
Norwegian death metal guy.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Anyway, what was your one?
Well, there's another one that I saw years ago, which was Will Sloan, and
Yeah.
then you know that one who's like, she's like a lady who's an Irish who lives in like Belgium, and she's got like a hammer and sickle as her and I don't know what it is, but she's like, you know, socialist. you
No.
know? But anyway, Will Sloan was like, Will Sloan of Michael and Us podcast and the Important Cinema Club. He, you know, the director, what the fuck's his name? Ryan Johnson, who directed Knives Out and stuff.
No.
So, you know, Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just vamp while James puts in his freaking snooze. I'm the fucking snooze, man.
We're all addicted to nicotine, guys.
Yeah, well, some of us are addicted to it.
Yeah, Knives
Internet
Out.
pornography. So Knives Out.
What's it about? It's about a guy who takes out a knife.
I mean, in a sense, yeah. You know. You know the one. You know the movie from 2018 or something where there's like, you know, there's like a house. It's like a rich guy, and it's like kind of Agatha Christie like murder thing.
I know the one, and it's called, I think it's called like Hide and Seek.
Yeah. It's pretty much exactly like that. Yeah.
And it's about a family
Sort of.
who are all vampires.
Okay. No, it wasn't.
And they invite a girl back to dinner
Yeah.
because she's supposed to be getting married.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if they don't play this game every week or
I think
year,
the vampire part is wrong, but the rest of it sounds correct.
and then they're like, we got to do this, otherwise we die.
Mm.
And then when they see sunlight, they explode.
Okay.
And it's allegory for Israel.
Yeah. Sounds it.
A bunch of vampires taking it out on innocent people.
Yeah.
Why? What was your one about?
Well, I don't have a movie. I just did the actual movie that was about. Wait, which one? Hide and Seek or Knives Out?
I thought they were the same film.
No, they're not. Then
Well-
there's the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
Oh, the sequel.
Yeah.
The squeakquel.
Um,
What's that one about? Glass Onion.
they go to an island and then people start dying on the island.
You died from glass onion disease.
So, anyway, Ryan Johnson was basically paid a bunch of money from Netflix to make like 10 of those films for Netflix. Of Knives Out.
Yeah.
And then his wife is a famous podcaster called
Jesus.
Karina Longworth.
Is that where we are now?
Yeah.
Famous podcast.
And she's got a Patreon. And Will Sloan was like, she shouldn't be allowed to have a Patreon because her husband makes such a stupid amount of money. Because she has like a podcast which apparently has ads and then also a Patreon.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're making, the combined income is too much.
Yeah. That's a wrong way of thinking about it.
Well, apparently that he said that, and then this lady from Ireland was like, "Did he just say that?" And I was like, "Hey, I know that lady." And then
Yeah.
he was like commenting about her, and they were
What
like
did he
talking to
say?
each other. Well, he was just thought that it was an entirely uncontroversial opinion.
Fuck off, you Mick.
Yeah, that's
So
what
he's-
exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Tig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, what do you think on it?
I don't think her being on Patreon has any effect on anything else.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's not getting pocket money from her husband. What you're saying?
Yeah. I think her husband's neglecting her, but not giving her pocket money.
I think it was because she also had ads on it. So he's like, you don't need a Patreon, and that's more for like lo-fi creators. such
Yeah,
as
but-
us, you know,
It's not like by her having a Patreon, it takes money away from him.
no, I suppose not.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of still haven't wrapped my head around it because I really want to believe that everything Will Sloan says is correct and I agree with it. But actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if I do agree with this one. But I sent it on to Luke Savage and I was like, hey, look, this guy, this person's talking about it. And he's like, I can't believe it made it all the way there. And I was like, are they like your version of Blue Ticks, which is obviously before Blue Tick became something else?
Yeah.
And I was like, essentially, yeah. And then he goes, he's like, I thought it was an entirely uncontroversial thing to say. And I was like, I'm just not following why
Yeah.
you thought that this was a correct thing to say.
Mm.
But I got to back my boys, whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah. Boys for girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the one I was talking about. There's this woman online, I think she's Congolese or of Congolese descent because her name is Congolese Rice. And she's a proud black woman living in Corbyn's constituency.
Okay.
And I've heard her on Real Politic podcasts. And she's very good. But then she's immunocompromised.
Who isn't?
Yeah, and she has been giving out about all of these people in America who are obsessed with long COVID
Yeah, wear masks.
and
people.
lecturing people.
Wear muzzle, people.
Well, she's like, who doesn't matter unless there's like 100% uptake for the mask. There's no fucking point in wearing it unless you have COVID. Do you know?
Yeah.
That's her take on it. She was like, stop lecturing people because basically there was a post whereby somebody was talking about their wedding and that their husband was like dying and they wanted to get married to them. And then somebody got in the replies saying like, yeah, he's dying because he probably got COVID and therefore got cancer and you're not wearing masks at your wedding and you're a piece, just like piling
Yeah.
on. And so then this created a reaction where people started to, but the majority of these people who were kind of like lecturing long COVID people, which, you know, and I actually do buy into long COVID.
Here's my hot take.
Okay.
You shouldn't marry a dying person.
Why's that?
Because then when you go to heaven, you'll be married to a sick person.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's
Forever.
like you know the way when you watch a movie and however they die, they got bow and arrows both through their head. They got
Yeah.
both through their head.
This
yeah.
guy will have like,
lesions and stuff.
yeah, fat ass disease or whatever he's dying of.
Yeah. Anyway,
you'll be
rip
like-
to that guy.
Yeah, and you'll be like, I'm married to this guy forever,
Yeah.
and God's there, and he's like, I made it pretty clear. What does it say? What did you say when you get married? In heaven or
I
hell?
do.
Yeah. I was at a wedding recently. They've changed the lyrics to the getting married bit.
The lyrics.
You're supposed to say, do you take heaven or hell?
Mm.
And you go, I will.
What is that?
Don't know.
You can't change it on me now.
Yeah.
Look how long it's been.
I wouldn't have agreed to this.
Do you know what? I don't know why so many Peep Show quotes are coming into my head today, but I love the bit in Peep Show. He's like, when it comes to saying the I do, can I say, do I?
Yeah.
And then she's like, no. And then eventually go, do you take her to be? Do I? I do. Yeah.
I used to think that if you got it wrong, you weren't married.
Gotcha.
Like if the priest read it out wrong or something.
I just like in a courtroom drama or something, pull up the tape. You'll see that
Yeah.
instead of saying I do, she
You said
says,
yappa
do
dabba
I?
do.
Yeah, exactly. I said I do. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's gasping. But anyway, the person she came into contact with when she's getting into this brawl online,
Yeah.
Congolese Rice, is Leslie Lee III from Struggle Session.
Jeez, poor woman.
Yeah, and
She
it's
doesn't
just
deserve that.
just mad long threads of like, you don't understand. Here's an article from America Scientific News Journal, and you're just like, I've never heard of that. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck. And then but Leslie Lee III has been on, like, and I actually like Leslie Lee III a lot. If you're listening, Leslie, come on the pod. But there's so many, like, he's literally been posting stuff. So many people on the left just revealing themselves as eugenicists because they refuse to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And these people are saying there is no point in wearing a mask at this point because, like I said, the uptake that would be required.
Yeah.
Okay. And like at this stage, it's like this woman is trying to say, I'm immunocompromised. I'm trying to see if I got the thing right.
I also don't think you can trust American science anymore. Because used to be, it was called like, the American Journal for Science. Whereas now they're all called like the Cheez-It Journal for like Radical Science or something.
Yeah.
They're all sponsored by like different things.
Yeah.
You know the way they're like, you go to a secondary school in America
Yeah.
and they have like the Doritos Hall.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
No, I mean like Staples Center, obviously, and
What's that?
well, Staples is an office supply store, and
Yeah.
I believe that there's like a big sporting arena, and Staples just bought the name to it, so
Yeah.
it's called Staples Center. Now, I
Why
could
can't
be
they be
wrong
like
about
here and just phone companies own everything?
that. Am I right about
The
that?
O2, 3 Arena.
Never mind. I'm completely wrong about that thing with Staples Center. But I am sort of half right because actually, this is very funny. The Staples Center has now been renamed the Crypto.com Arena. So that's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just call it the Aviva. Just give it to a company that
Yeah.
ruins your life in a different way.
Yeah. The 3 Olympia.
Yeah.
That one sucks so bad. I hate that one. Every time I see it, that stupid fucking 3.
Yeah. Things used to be named after gestures. You had the point. You had the gate.
Yeah.
You had the
go
middle
on.
finger. The film.
Okay, enough of that. That one hurts, okay? It's too painful to get into. I can't, okay? Maybe one of these days I'll watch it. I'll spend my own money to watch this.
No, I've never watched it.
Yeah. That's for the real heads out there. I don't know.
It's
who
for the
you-
deep divers.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to find what this lady was saying. This person. No, they have she, her there. So anyway.
She's the anti-masker.
It's not anti-mask. She's just like, there's no point, and you have to kind of just live your life after a
Yeah,
certain
that's
point.
the same thing.
Okay.
That's all they were ever saying. Like, what do you think Gemma Doherty was saying?
No, because they were saying that COVID was bullshit and it wasn't real,
Just
and it's
live
just
your
like the
life.
cold.
No, they were literally like, just live your life.
No, they were saying that it wasn't real, that these people weren't dying in the numbers that they were.
Like, there was your man who was like, I just want to live my life and come back into Ireland without getting the vaccination.
But that's at the high. That was without vaccination. She's not saying that either.
Yeah.
All right, it's incredible that you have a data trend brackets rising cancer that one set of fucking nut jobs have decided is because of COVID, and another set of nut jobs have decided is because of the vaccine, and both are wrong but want to be righteous online
Yeah, it's a
anyway.
vaccine.
There is some point where there is some point where we need to encourage people to learn to live with COVID the way immunocompromised people have had to learn to live with every other airborne disease all their goddamn lives. And she says this is an immunocompromised
She
woman.
swears in her tweet.
Yeah, she's a serious lady.
She's hysterical. I'm not listening to her anymore. She's lost the argument.
She had a very cute picture of her dad doing a phone bank for Corbyn.
Yeah.
Was her granddad?
Is he wearing a mask?
Yeah, whatever. A fucking
Gareth?
muzzle.
Is he wearing a muzzle?
Is he wearing a muzzle?
It used to be that muzzles were for... XL bullies wore muzzles.
Yeah.
And people wore hoodies
Yeah.
and clothes.
But now you're saying that XL bullies are wearing hoodies and
And
all right.
the people have to wear the muzzles.
And then they're getting advice from freaking
It
donkeys.
used to be that
See?
XL bullies wore muzzles. And now it's the people wearing the muzzles.
Yeah.
And the XL bullies are getting killed.
Yeah.
See,
I
they're
know, you
bringing it-
see that progression. You see what happens once you start muzzling people.
do you see the muzzle? The XL bullies are getting banned in
Yeah.
Ireland.
Yeah, and if you see the takes from like people here, it's the owner, not the
Yeah.
dog.
With those dogs, it is dog.
Yeah, it is the dog. But I love they're like this thing where it's like, oh, we just look over at England and we steal all of their talking points. And I was like, that's what the Irish kind
Yeah.
of people are saying. It's like, exactly, that's exactly what you're doing
Yeah.
right now. You are doing this.
I want a job as one of the people who gets to go around and shoot the dogs in the head. Who gets to curb stomp the dogs. Do they kill the ones who are currently alive?
Gotta. I hope so, in fact.
Yeah. If we don't, yeah. Just classify them as an invasive species so you can hunt on sight.
Yeah.
Get a sniper rifle out. There's an XL bully. There's
So, you
an
know,
XL bully.
they should do. Eamon Ryan is like, I think we should reintroduce wolves to tackle the XL bully
Yeah.
problem. Well, the wolves will eat the dogs. It's like, what happens if we get overrun by wolves? Well, then we
Yeah.
get to bring the bears in.
Yeah. The horses at Stevens Green will,
Yeah.
will deal with the wolves.
Yeah. The Simpsons just run the invasive species of lizard that keeps killing all the cuckoos or something like that.
What?
Do you remember in that episode where
The
Bart...
snakes.
No, it wasn't snakes. It was lizards where there's like eggs and Bart kills a bird with a pellet gun.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go like, well, they're overrun by lizards, but they keep killing all the vermin. And then it's like, now we're overrun by lizards. What do you do? It's like, well, then we're just going to put some snakes or whatever the fuck it was. And then he lists off like, well, here's the big, here's the good part.
No,
in
that
the
was
winter.
the snakes.
All right, no, it wasn't.
So the snakes, it's the
Trying to school me on the Simpsons.
it's the
I'm gonna
Snake
fucking-
Day episode.
I ought to fucking... I'm getting out of my chair.
And all the snakes are going around the place. And it's like, what are we going to do now that we're overrun with snakes?
No, it's not snakes.
And he's like, we're going to release the gorillas.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. Here's the quote from Frinkiac.com.
Alright.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know, or you're going to just keep being
I don't think you have
ignorant?
anything on that screen. I think you're bluffing.
Where is this? But isn't this a bit short-sighted? What happens when we're overrun by lizards?
By snakes, it says.
No problem. We
I'm
simply
actually
unleash,
looking at Gareth's screen right now. It says,
we simply unleash wave after wave
Wave
of
of
Chinese needle snakes. So we're kind of right. We're both right. They'll wipe out the lizards, but aren't the snakes even worse? Yes, but we're prepared for that. We've lined up a fabulous type of gorilla that thrives on snake meat. Then we're stuck with gorillas. No, that's the beautiful part. When wintertime rolls around, the gorillas simply freeze to death. That's it.
I know that's a misquote.
No, it's not.
I do, because Seymour he's like, they'll die in our cold Midwestern winters.
Okay. We're going to have to do this, are we?
What?
We're going to have to fucking do this.
Get up
I
a secondary
guess.
source. People rely on us for the news.
Yeah. I'm going to put in the bit of, we told the goddamn news. Going to put in from the newsroom.
Yeah.
If I ever say you're not a newsman, you slap me in the face. You know? Did you see that clip? Like, they actually played it on Michael and Us, but it's like obscene how ridiculous that clip is.
The newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a secret Sorkin fan. So.
Well, you're not so secret, but yeah. You're obvious.
So,
If, let's say if you were at the Sorkin Club on Camden Street,
I'd be at the glory hole.
they'd know
And I wouldn't be
immediately.
wasting anyone's time.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, we should. Oh, fuck it. We haven't even talked about any politics. It's like for the most politics that has ever happened in the entire show.
Okay, get something up.
But it's just no. It's just funny because like I was like, speaking of Sorkin, we have to talk about Douglas got cancelled. And I was like, anyway. But
That's for the second hour.
we need to correct the record here with the fucking hell. By the way, listen, do you remember I said that I spent a bunch of money on this laptop and didn't pay any attention to the body of the laptop? Wait until you hear these speakers that I paid
So upsetting.
too much money for, okay?
Well, I was wrong. The lizards are godsend.
But isn't that a bit short-sighted? What happens when we're overrun by lizards?
No problem. We simply unleash wave after wave of Chinese needle snakes. Like by the lizards.
Aren't the snakes even worse?
Yes, but we're prepared for that. We've lined up a fabulous type of gorilla that thrives on snake meat.
But then we're stuck with gorillas.
No, that's the beautiful part. When wintertime rolls around, the gorillas simply freeze to death.
That's an edit. That's a fan edit.
This is a Mandela effect or something.
Speaking of,
Speaking of uncharitable
Mandela.
edits.
yeah,
Um,
Trump got shot.
oh, right. Douglas got cancelled.
Yeah, so in the second hour of this podcast, we're going to be talking about Douglas Scott cancelled.
We'll talk about it. I mean, we've kind of talked about it a lot already off mic, but
Well, we have to do it.
we have to talk about it. Yeah.
That's why we watched it. I didn't watch
That
that
is
shit
true.
because I liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the worst 3 hours of my life. So we're talking about it.
So, if anybody doesn't know, Stephen Moffat, one of the former head writers for Doctor Who, wrote a show called Douglas Gets Cancelled, and it's about fucking women just going after a dude.
For real.
For real.
And women, like, talking about Chinese needle snakes.
Yeah.
The women in this show are a bunch of needle snakes. Going
And the
after
men are just a bunch of innocent donkeys just trying to get through the day, okay?
yeah, for real.
So there's 3 stories. 1, Kulak, pretty grim. 1, 2,
Yeah, cool.
let's do a
That was before the protests.
Yeah. And then 2, obviously, Trump nearly getting assassinated. I just the idea
Yes.
of like but there's a third one. Oh yeah, the death threats. Okay, so we'll start off with the light one. Okay?
Death threat.
The death threat. So no, let's start off with Trump getting shot.
No, I
even
think do the reverse shit sandwich. You know what I mean?
all right, fine. Yeah, all right.
Bad story, lighthearted Trump assassination.
All right, so Mary Lou got a death threat from a guy, and then when I saw it, I was initially like, "Is it a death threat or is it like a death threat?" Do
I
you know?
promise.
Do you know where people are like, "Fucking Mary Lou, I'll kill her"? Online?
Yeah.
Or is it like, no? It's like this guy just with his face looking at the camera, and then he wears a balaclava, and then takes off the balaclava,
Really? I
which
haven't
is
watched
so
the
fucking
video.
stupid.
Those are so funny to me that
Yeah.
in Ireland he wasn't able to get a proper balaclava. He has like a black beanie
Yeah.
that he's cut 2 holes in,
Yeah.
and they're not even on the same level.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was that Vradker was threatened, but like either it's a lie or it's the truth, and it's just as bad, do you know? Because their guards are like, we saw this guy who was about to kill Vradker, but then we exposed him. We exposed them, and they got too afraid to do the assassination.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you arrest them? And then if you didn't arrest
He
them,
ran too
then
quickly.
it was a lie, and then that's also really fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's like I think I don't know. I don't want to be putting words in the person's mouth, in Paulie's mouth. You know, Paulie is always Paulie Doyle. He was saying about how the Hutches and the Kinahans are used to kind of be like they're just about to get them. Drew Harris, is
Yeah.
and it's meant to be about how effective the police are. But then what they're doing is they're going like, so when you have a story that's happened like Kulak, which is like, you know, you just see tons of fucking cops and they are failing to control the situation.
Yeah.
And that's not even the half of it, because like I'm going all dotting all around here, but Sinn Féin during the week were like, Mary Lou's like, you know, basically saying people need to be consulted before these people are brought into their communities in the dead of night. And it was like, there has been a camp at Coolock for about a month, or
Yeah.
more than a month, I think. Okay. And the Dublin Inquirer has been commenting as recently as last week, going like, what are they going to do about this? This
Yeah.
is still going on. And then it turns out, oh, right, they've actually just like set a police car on fire. So I guess that's the end of that, you know? And so now we have to talk about it. But like all the genuine concerns from these people. And you can see that this guy like hopping around, screaming in a guard's face, throwing shapes,
Yeah.
like literally like putting a fist up to his face, being like, go on, you want to fucking hit me? You want to fucking
Yeah,
hit me?
yeah.
And they're going, please, sir, is there any way that I can? And I was like, is there anybody else that would get that sort of treatment? It's
No.
insane to me. It's insane that this happened. So anyway, the point then is to go, no, the guards aren't useless. They actually stopped to threaten Fradker's life. And I was like, who are they? That's for us to know. We're still gathering intel.
Yeah.
Have you made an arrest? We're biding our time. We're going to wait and figure
Yeah,
this one out.
yeah.
You know?
They really do love avoiding work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, there's always been this thing of like, oh, the guards just like protecting the rich.
Yeah.
Now they're not even doing that.
No.
They're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like if you think you're, even that thing of like, we were doing the investigation and we scared them off.
Yeah.
That means that the guy found out about the investigation. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which shouldn't happen. So it makes it seem like you like, I don't know, how would he even find out about, like you said, you were texting someone
Yeah.
and you accidentally sent the text to the wrong person.
I know.
And it got back to him, you know?
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just getting distracted as well because, like, you know, shit. We need to take this shit seriously. Someone has made, you know, these. You know, when it came with Simon Harris, when it comes with Mary.
Yeah.
Well, Mary Lou less so. This is a bit of a. I think it's only because Drew Harris was also threatened that they now care about Mary Lou.
Yeah.
Because you remember they're standing out, and I say this all the time. They're standing outside Paul Murphy's house.
Yeah.
Looking in the window, sending messages to each other, going, "Let's break in and steal his fucking kid." Okay.
Yeah.
And the way the Independent, which obviously is always terrible anyway, they said George Hook says now Paul Murphy must know what fucking Joan Burton felt like. And you're just like, this is serious, man. This is fucking serious. And then you see like all these videos of Paul Murphy and then go, you're teaching babies how to masturbate. You're fisting kids in school. Which also has that brilliant, him going, I'm fisting kids in school. You admit it.
You said it.
Yeah. But like all that's happening and he's in the middle of this shit. He is like the most exposed individual. Yeah. And then now it's like, you know, they made a death threat against me. It's like on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I know it's bad, but once I heard that, I was like, you've been courting these guys for ages. Mm. You've been saying, we have to listen to their legitimate concerns. We hear you. The reason we didn't do well in the locals is because we didn't have a firm enough stance on immigration. We didn't say.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then they go, this is disgraceful that this guy threatened me. He's like, but that's who you said. That's who you're appealing to.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is going on?
What did you expect to happen?
Like, you're not going to get this guy. You're not going to get any of them. They've called you a traitor and you're still going to be like, we need a firm position on immigration and you can't threaten to kill me. You know?
Yeah.
These people who hate you. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. My sympathy is very fucking limited for these. Like, they're just being real cowards in this moment in time.
These people, they ultimately, they know what they want.
Yeah.
And, there's no reasoning with them. So, like, you can't just be like, we'll be a bit crueler to migrants and hopefully they'll back off.
Yeah.
Because they'll just go like, oh, well, that's it.
Yeah.
They're ceding ground, so let's push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when people like McEntee or Fine Gael going to the right or Sinn Féin going to the right, suddenly they're like, okay, well, now's the time to press.
Yeah.
Now's not the time to back off.
You'd be foolish. You'd be stupid otherwise.
Yeah. And they've had so many instances now of doing absolutely crazy batshit things and not getting punished.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well now we don't have to be afraid anymore.
No, and they're very liberated at the moment. I mean, there's some crazy shit happening. Like, obviously, there's been like fires, blockades, But then there's like the clips that we've seen of guys driving cars through fields chasing migrants.
Yeah.
You know, they've been burning tents and like tearing them apart with knives. There was a horrible one where, and like they have it in their head and like this very American thinking, which is like there was one place that was earmarked for a migrant center, and they put like a bloody pig's head outside it.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be like, because all the fucking Muslims coming in, I was like, like you don't.
So there was one thing where, do you see Paul Murphy's thing, and he was like, can't remember who he was talking about. Was it about Pepper, Gavin Pepper?
Yeah.
And he was like, this chap's on the far right, and he has a habit of turning up places.
Yeah.
And
And then they go on fire.
then they go on fire. And he said it was slander.
Yeah.
And then I think the course, was it the course or was it Kevin Corla who was like, actually, that's fine.
Yeah, because, he didn't
Because,
say
yeah.
anything that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't even know if it was.
Which I was
Yeah.
surprised. I was surprised that they didn't make Murphy apologize.
Yeah.
It seems like the sort of thing they do, where they're like, you can't go around saying things like that.
No, yeah, because do you remember like last year, maybe even this year, where I think it was actually for Newtown Mount Kennedy, where. No, it's not Newtown Mount Kennedy. It was, what's the one?
Well, they all have
In
3
Tipperary.
eyes and 2 rows of teeth.
Yeah, what's the one? Do you know the one where like they were screaming at the children going in,
yeah.
and then they gave all the moldy
Was it
toys to
Ross
them.
Cray?
Yeah. So Ross Cray, she said that there were some members, TDs, who had used fascist rhetoric, and she was talking about Matty McGrath, who
Yeah.
was talking about a great replacement that they're like going to be taken over, and the Ken Corler was like, "That's a disgraceful thing to say. You know, that's
Yeah.
not what's happening." But yeah, there's some really. I always find the comments when they underneath they go, "Oh yeah, but you're not reporting about this migrant who killed somebody," and then you look it up and it happened in like Birmingham. I was like, so you're just going to take anywhere in the
Yeah.
world where a crime is committed? Now, obviously, people have all pointed this out, but like Cathal Crotty apparently doesn't stand in for every fucking white guy.
Yeah.
But then this one guy in Birmingham is like, that's why we can't have them here because of this guy who killed somebody in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Insane. I'm trying to find. I think it was Dara Adelaide who tweeted it out, but there was like the fucking, the thing. Basically, Gavin Pepper's not a. Is he a councillor? No, he's a councillor. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get this up here. But I
And
believe that
he needs a counsellor. Some men should go to therapy.
let me see. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw, there's a picture of Gavin Pepper and he headed over to Turkey and very obviously got hair plugs. 'Cause He has
Really?
all these little dots of bleeding. So now Tony Groves has started referring to him as hair, as in HERR plug.
Ah, yeah.
That's fucking funny. I don't care who you are, that's funny right there.
That's, really clever. What's Tony Groves up to?
I don't know, just doing the same shit. Coddle, But Gavin Pepper has been tweeting out about how Drew Harris coordinated this stuff.
Yeah, I was sort of shocked to hear that Drew Harris was involved.
Yeah.
Like he's head of the guards,
Yeah.
and he's out there burning his own equipment.
Mm.
Um,
I just want to find this thing. What's the I don't think I'm gonna find it.
I think that's my favorite quality of the right, is that they go out and they smash up the place, and then they're like,
That was
"Who
us.
did this?"
Yeah. That's
Like-
remember when Kevin Sorbo during January 6th, the guy who plays Hercules, who's in the TV show, who's a big right winger, and so he's like, "Yeah, march towards the Capitol," and then 10 minutes later, it appears that Antifa have taken over, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. They were like, because it was the same with the Dublin riots. They were like, they actually set their own squad. They actually left out all the stuff to set a squad car on fire in front of the car, and then they walked away, and then obviously our natural instincts kicked in. We set it on fire, and they make us the bad guy for it. And so that's what they did during the Dublin one.
It was
and then,
entrapment.
yeah, and then in Clontarf, it's not Clontarf, fuck, in
Coolock.
Coolock, That's they now said no. Actually, the guards set their own squad car on fire, and they were trying to make us look bad. But also, I like that the squad car was on fire, and I'm happy that we're taking the
Yeah.
island back.
It was fortuitous, but we didn't do it.
Yeah. And then they have like all these fires, and they're like, people are just fed up. They don't want these violent thugs coming into their community and destroying it in front of a fire,
Yeah.
in front of a blockade, in front of like, and then it baffles me. But anyway, the guards looked so insanely out of their depth, and like once again, I'm just gonna say like there were so many fucking guards there. There was tons and tons and tons of them. People are like, we need more guards out there. It's like you got. There's not enough guards.
Yeah.
You need to change everything about the way that they think, so that when they show up to an eviction, they don't go, tenant needs to go out.
Yeah.
And when they show up to a race riot, they don't go, oh guys, come on, just bring it down a bit.
Yeah.
But also I don't even want them to be like going in like guns blazing, bashing shit out of people. That's not even what I want either. Like, I shouldn't even get to this situation. And I'm not proposing any, like, I'm no genius. I haven't figured out, like, proper policing. I'm just saying that, like, clearly the way that they learn stuff in Temple Moore is to do, like, you know, the part where you put your, you know, hands underneath your stab vest and kind of go around and try, oh, right, what's going on? What's going, you know, kind of, but, like, they don't have a clue. They don't have anything. They're stupid as fuck. They have the same politics as the people that they're trying to stop.
They should give all the guards a Havana syndrome gun. And then it's like, your man is at the protest. He's like, actually, I feel slightly disorientated.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go home now.
Yeah. But Gavin Pepper was there as well, going, like, you know,
What did you say?
just talking about, like, needing to send them all back because this is what happens when you don't consult communities. We want this building to stay empty or we'll burn it down.
Do you remember we were watching, what's his name? The fella from Waterford.
Yeah, Gar Kelly.
And he was...
He's from Wexford.
What?
He's from Wexford.
Same.
Also, don't tap that because it's coming up on the mic. I'm sorry to say.
Any other corrections?
Can't even see the goddamn thing. Yeah, go on anyway.
Want to critique what I'm wearing?
Yeah. What were you wearing? Save that for Douglas gets cancelled.
He was interviewing people at a...
Oh, that was so annoying. Yeah.
What?
That was annoying.
At the thing.
Yeah.
What was it? A thing.
There's some immigration, anti-migrant protest.
And there was a woman who was... And it would be funny if you believed this, but obviously she didn't.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't... You know, if they're bringing in military-aged men, you know...
They're unvetted.
What?
They're unvetted.
And it'd be the same if they're from...
Donegal.
From Donegal. Like, it would be funny if she was like as afraid of Donegal as she was of, you know.
I love the way she goes, no, I'm actually too afraid to go anywhere, do anything. And, you know, they're all hanging out in playgrounds, I've been told. And just a pure vibes base. But then she said, like, no, I'm actually afraid to go to Dundalk and walk down the street.
She was like, I'm from a small town. I'm from a small village.
Those people, the small village,
And then she was like, Dundalk.
Yeah.
Which is the largest town in Ireland.
I think she was from outside of Dundalk. But the thing is, like, even before all of this great immigration debate, any story that you've ever told me from Dundalk has like the craziest people I've ever heard there. They're all like, you know, when you go to when you're in Donegal as well, and like in Letterkenny, they have the most mental fucking people ever.
They
and
really
it's
do.
nothing to do with migration. They are homegrown fucking head cases.
I heard a story about Dundalk, and it was like before there were any late night chippers.
Yeah.
Someone told me this happened in the 80s. That there was a guy who just would, you know, sit in the square.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, and he would sell cups of soup from like Knorr packets.
Why?
Because people wanted like a takeaway.
For soup.
And a guy from Dundalk told me that.
Yeah. There was some other story you told me about Dundalk. Some fella. Anyway, all I know is that anytime I hear a story from Dundalk...
Oh, the guy Wacker.
Yes.
And he was like... We're at the... what's the big pub? And it's famous. It's like their version of Whelan's.
I wouldn't know.
Whatever it is. it's sort of outside of the town, but
Yeah.
not that far. And it was by like 10 o'clock. He was like, "Oh, what about the afters? What about the afters? Where are we going to the afters?" And then he was like trying to get us all to go back to his. And over the course of the night, it emerged as he was describing his place. It was like on an active construction site, and there were no floors.
Yeah.
You had to walk on like the joints,
Yeah.
you know,
The beams.
the beams.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Come back to the afters," like now.
I don't know. I mean, Yeah.
That's Dundalk for you.
yeah. Nothing wrong with Dundalk.
Well,
Well, there is, but you know.
it is the only other place I'd like to live. Apart from-
Yeah.
Or Cork. Cork seems fine.
Yeah. Cork also full of mentalers.
Yeah.
Have I told you? Not that I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but like, it's only a small detail. But I live across from a cinema, and I see like people like coming home from the office in cars, hopping out of the traffic lights, going in, buying a bag of popcorn, and then getting
Yeah.
back into the car and driving
That's so crazy.
home. Yeah.
Like, to me, that's crazier than Wacker. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Imagine paying €7 for a bag of popcorn that you can
Yeah.
eat on your way home in the car.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh God! Just working at like, you know, some computer parts office and
Looking at the clock, being like, I want to get out by rush hour.
yeah, I'd be stuck there for ages.
Yeah.
It's like you could just not get it. No. I mean, look, I'll do it.
You know, you can make it at home. It's not the same.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the movie taste.
I
I was
want my car to stink
Yeah.
forever.
So yeah, the biggest like
Can I make a cup of tea?
yeah, sure, but like just to finish that point about like, so we got like racially motivated riots in Coolock, and then you have Mary Lou getting a death threat, but then also being like, but we will get tougher on migrants. And it's like, all you have to do is shut the fuck up and get Ono Bryn to talk about housing non-fucking stop.
Yeah.
And you could have had this in the goddamn bag.
Yeah.
That's what it was happening. That's what it was running on since 2020.
Yeah.
And you, I guess you just have to at some point go, no, they actually do believe this stuff. It's
Maybe
not
they-
an accident.
Mary Lou disappeared for a while.
Yeah, because she had COVID and then
Vaccinations.
she had cancer.
She had cancer.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought she got vaccinated.
Interesting that.
Yeah. Yeah, which was it? I wonder which was it. Did it the
No, I'm
flu that millions of people have
Yeah.
had, or a vaccination?
I'm just saying, you know, coincidence.
I'm not. I'm saying
Oh,
it's
right, okay.
direct calls.
You heard it here first, folks. So yeah, I guess that's an hour as well. So we can pause, have a cup of tea, and then in the second half, this will save me later from having. In the second half, we're going to talk about Trump's tragic near miss,
Yeah.
and then also the amazing TV show Douglas got cancelled.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about a certain area of Cork, which really should be cancelled.
Is it bad?
No, actually, I don't know. It's got a cinema out there. It's all right. Does it? Does it have a cinema? Douglas. Anyway, yeah, we'll stop recording. Just get tea. And we're recording. I'll put on the headphones again. And I can hear any problems. So, welcome back to the recording. Something I forgot. Leo Varadkar stepping down, not contesting the next election.
Yeah.
And here are some Irish Independent headlines. Fionn Sheehan writes, Leo Varadkar came, saw and conquered without ever fulfilling his electoral potential.
What does that mean?
Profile of a Taoiseach. This is another one. Sharp and modern leader Leo Varadkar didn't always meet expectations.
What expectations?
I don't know. They had a lot of hope for him. Like, they wrote a fucking book about him. Do you remember?
But like, their expectations were like treat people cruelly and, you know,
Yeah.
serve international business interests.
Well, he kind of just... you
Like,
know,
what didn't he do?
Well, he's like a Macron style guy as well, isn't he? Where he's kind of like, he looks young and slick, and he's going to
Yeah.
be our, you know, poster boy.
Yeah, and he
So they wanted
was
that. He was that, but they didn't like what they saw. They were like, no, but he looked like a fucking dickhead, and people didn't like him. It's like,
Oh, right.
yeah, exactly. But he didn't like. He didn't do anything. He just championed privatization and like, yeah. I mean, but they don't see themselves as that they find that frustrating.
Yeah.
He would have, if he had been like them, then he would have been popular, you know?
Yeah.
People, you know, what they believe is common sense, obviously. But they have from welfare cheats, cheat us all, to tearing into Neffet, notable moments from Leo Varadkar's time in politics. They also have 5 moments of triumph for Leo Varadkar and 5 he would rather forget. Do you want to read? Do you want to just go through those real quick or no?
Yeah.
To hear the rest, go to patreon.com/KeltyCligers and pay €5 a month. The Ligers talk about pod favorite TD being excommunicated by a priest, Trump getting shot, and then a comprehensive review of the latest ITV drama series by Doctor Who scribe Stephen Moffat called Douglas is Cancelled. Very good.